Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. Today is Tuesday, April the 2nd, and it's another April Fool's Day on me. I'll explain that in a minute, but let me show you this real quick. We've had an uptrend today. We've been mostly, you notice how everything's pointing up. Um, Here was the first leg up before we had the correction, right before the open this morning. And then, so that was my target for this particular leg here. And then there's also, I measured this leg and you pull it up and you get basically the same identical target. So that's where I was looking for prices to go. Are we going to make it there? It's hard to say. We've been stuck in this little tight range since 9:30 and it's 11:30, so it's almost 2 hours. So I'm pretty much done for the day, but so I've just decided I'm gonna go ahead and do the chart lesson today and wrap this up. And there's just, there's not really any trades. There was actually a trade right in here if you want to take this. Um, I didn't mark it because I wasn't trading then. I've just kind of been watching it and just finally decided that it wasn't worth. I'm gonna go ahead and mark this one the second. There's really two legs down, but um, you would have wanted to enter over the first bar that broke higher, which would have been that one right there. So I'll mark it. Um, let's just see if, I'm pretty sure you would have gotten your scalp on that. Your entry would have been 66.50, and so far it's a four-tick failure. But I'd be shocked if we don't go higher and reach these targets. It's possible we could turn down from here, but we'll just have to see. You just got to be really careful entering in this stuff, and right now that's a four-tick failure. Uh, so, I think I might have exited right up here when it didn't get filled, but I wouldn't surprise me if we don't bounce and make another leg up. But we'll see. But you see how I got my targets. I just wanted to show you that, and then I'll get these two out of the way. But really what I saw was this original channel here, and this might, oops, I do that every time. That just irritates me. This might actually be up here, but either way, you see we didn't get anywhere near it. I'm thinking it's probably down here, and we just overshot it right there. But I saw this original channel. We got a break right here, and then we moved to a new high. Is that one leg, or we got two legs and we're done? Again, if you get this, if you measure another leg from here on up, then you get the original target I had. So there's a good chance we may make another leg up. We'll just have to see what happens, because right now we're just stuck in this right here, and prices can't seem to go anywhere. But there were a lot of nice entries all the way up if you follow this trend line. And there's a possible channel here, but it just doesn't seem to be really coming into play. Again, it's like one of those, it's like a, we shot up right here, and then we went into the channel, and you can see that we were playing off these highs and playing off these lows up through here until it got really choppy in here and this stuff, and that's why you didn't want to enter in here. So I call this a spiking channel. So it looks a lot like a spiking channel, but you can't ignore the fact that this trend line was holding all the way up here with multiple confirmations until we finally got a little double top and, um, and worked lower and tested this. We're finding support right across here at 1564 and a quarter. So, but let me show you the trades I had. And again, I told you it was, I made a huge mistake today. What I did was I got in here a little bit late, and so I was rushing to get my trade on to catch this trade right here, and I didn't realize that somehow I got my account into the simulation mode. So the first three trades I took, I didn't make a dime really, just simulation money, and so luckily I was able to go ahead and make my money on these three trades, and I figured it out, thank goodness. But I thought I was almost done for the day, and really would have had probably a spectacular trading day, except for the fact that I forgot to take. Um, I was playing around yesterday afternoon in the simulation mode. I've got mine set where it doesn't start in the simulation mode for that very reason, because I've made that mistake before, and there's nothing worse than sitting there and going through all the process and thinking you're making money to find out, you're not really making money. But I did that today. Uh, so laugh at me. 2 days in a row that April Fool's has got me. So I had a double April Fool's Day today. I talked about the one yesterday in the video. It was not that big a deal really yesterday, but I still got nabbed by the market yesterday and then again today. So, everybody makes mistakes, including me. And so that's my funny story for the year. I hope I don't make that mistake again. But let's talk about the trades. We had this trend line working off these first couple of swings here, and you really weren't sure where this was going to set up right here, but you kind of had this resistance or support, and you really could have played it a couple of ways. It really was right there, and there was one of those little gaps. It came back and filled it before it went higher, but there was one of those where the bar opens here, closes here, and opens here. And some people keep asking me they can't see it. It's pretty simple. All it is the bar closes on a high, the next bar opens, and there's no overlap. It did pull back and overlap, but you can see the open of that bar is there and the close of that one's there. So notice how most every bar always has overlap. And when you don't get that overlap, there's a little gap there. But this one's not real easy to see because it did come back and fill it. But notice that gap there. That tells you something. Then look, we bounced there, and then so we had kind of a little double bottom, a little bubble bottom across there, and we failed and broke lower. So notice the new high. We're pulling back first entry long. We pull back second entry long right at the EMA, right at a possible trend line. You didn't really know exactly where this trend line was going to be, but it's somewhere right in here, and we bounce, so after we come off that, I draw it through that one and touch that one. You can see, and it came in play all the way up. And so anyway, we're going higher there, and there really was an entry here too. I probably should have made note of that one. Go ahead and mark this one. I'm going to make this one green, and I'll explain why in a minute, but we're going to make it green. And, oops. Okay, but anyway, nice entry right here. A nice second entry long, two-legged pullback to the EMA possible trend line, and off it goes. And then guess what? Another two-legged pullback to the EMA trend line. Your entry is either above this bar. It's better to wait on this one, and off it goes. And it looked like it was going to pull back, but you got to trust it. And you see it went on higher. Another easy scalp. This one you were able to collect runners off of if you entered here. There were actually two entries here. There was one off the failed break lower. There's a second one on a second entry long counting off this way. And people ask me about that. You can have a count going both ways. Obviously, the most important one is the with trend, 0, first entry, pull back, second entry. And you see that's just 2 legs of correction there. That's all that is 2 legs back. And then you expect a correction. Then look right here, 1 leg back, 2 legs back, and then it goes on. Another correction, and it goes on. And then this was kind of a breakout pullback long off of these highs right across there, and you can see that we tested that once, twice, 3 times, and then off we went. So this is kind of a breakout pullback long, and then we went higher, and then we pulled back again, and we pulled back too quickly there twice, and so it was really getting risky. But there's a setup right there. It would have went for a few ticks, but when you made that tick higher and started turning down after that doji, you might even exit it after that doji. But that'll get you a lot of times because there was one there, there was one there, and there was one there. And if you exited after that, but once you break higher and start to turn back down right there, don't let it come back and take your money, because notice that we're not coming back to the EMA here. We're getting further away, and the prices are going to eventually come back to it, just like they did right there. Just looking to see what's going on out here. You see we're still within this little tight range. And so you were better off to wait until we came back, and then we come back and test right here, and there was an entry right here, and it was good for just enough for a scalp. And then it comes back, and we finally get the little trap here, and all they did was trap out all the shorts, and you really could have the best place to go long was right there above the little doji, but you could have waited on this bar, and then it's kind of a second entry long, counting either direction. And so then, and look how choppy and slow, and then again you get another chance right here where it comes back, and you kind of got this little channel working up, and you know, we still got room before we get out to the original high, and I'm looking for a retest to the high. And so a nice place to enter, a nice little reversal bar, and again, good for a scalp, nothing more. And then that was it for me for the day. I just, you know, like I said, I should have made double the money I made today, but you know, what can you say? But if you entered here and you saw this reversal bar, you got to exit right there. And you see the same thing right here. Once you saw this reversal bar, if you were not scalping out, you got to exit. And it's, you know, that's as simple as it gets. You can't hang on because you don't know. The odds are that it's probably going to find support and try to push back up, but you don't know that. You never know exactly what's going to happen. And then another chance, these other two chances to enter. So again, and this line right here is real iffy because it could be right there. And if that's the case, then we got a break and a push to a new high. So either way you found this channel or this channel, you know, you could look at it either way. And, you know, it kind of fits. If you saw it right there, you still got that break right there and then a couple of legs up to a new high. I still would not be surprised if we don't go higher, but look how flat that EMA is. You don't want to be entering in this stuff. You gotta find some kind of a trap or something, or a trend of some kind that's different, and that's just not going to get it right there. But even though this is a trend line break right here and a move to a new high, we've had enough for a correction to start another trend up. So, you know, people get confused on that. Let me clarify that again. Just because you get a trend line break and a move to a new high, that does not mean you'll get a new trend in the other direction. It just means you're going to, a lot of times it does lead to a reversal and a trend in the other direction, but it just means you're going to get an extended correction that lasts at least an hour at a minimum. And we've had that right in here. And so we've corrected enough that now we could start a new trend or a new trend line, or going up and make another leg up similar to here to reach our target. Or we could sell off and get a reversal here. We met the criteria, though, for a correction. And that's the main thing, is that that people understand that. It doesn't always mean you're going to get a reversal. That's why it's really dangerous shorting these highs even after a trend line break until you start to get a trend that's proven in the other direction. It's best just to stay out of it, especially on a day like this. This looks like a weak trend. But the fact that this just keeps going and going and going with all these little tiny bars, that's usually a pretty strong trend. And you can see they just can't sell it off. The buyers, you know, the buyers haven't been able to take it much higher yet, but the sellers cannot sell it off. They're having a hard time even getting it below the EMA, and that's a sign that you don't want to be going short yet. You need to make sure, you need to wait till everything gets below the EMA, or you get a trend line working the other way, and then they can't get above it. Then you're, you know, you're looking at going short. Until then, stay with the trend. And that was really about it. It's just been one of those days that you just have to buy and get on. And once you went into this, you know, you just need to stay out of it. This was the last trade that was a possible decent trade right there. And then from then on, it's just been all overlap. You see, we break out the top, we fail. We come up here, we make a little double top, but guess what? We can't get out the bottom. We break out the bottom, we fail and go higher. And so you just, you know, it's not worth trading. The only way you can trade it is to try to get short at the top or long at the bottom. And the bias has been up all day. And so you really don't need to be shorting at all. As you can see, there's just not much room in there to short anything. The sellers are getting punished if you're trying to sell today. So that's really what I saw today. And I'm going to wrap this up kind of early today. I've got some personal stuff I got to take care of. So the fact that we're stuck in this, I'm just going to call it a day and get out of here. And hope you had a good trading day. Hope you didn't get fooled like me. Don't make the mistake of thinking you're live and being in sim, or even worse, thinking you're sim and be trading live, because either way, it's not a fun thing to do. I've never made this mistake of thinking I'm in sim and making money trading live, it always works against you. Don't ask me why, but it's the law of trading. If you make a mistake, it's never going to be in your favor. It's always going to hurt you. And I can't explain that one. I really can't. But anytime I make an error, it always hurts me. And so if you think you're going long and you accidentally go short, you're probably better off to close your trade, because I've done that before. I've thought I was going short and accidentally went long. And, if you hang on and hope it works out and try to save yourself some money, you'll probably cost yourself some money. So don't do it. If you make a mistake, just close your trade. And generally, if you make a mistake of being in sim or out of sim, it's probably going to hurt you either way it goes. And again, I can't explain it, but it's the law of trading, and that's just the way it works. But when you're taking these trades, and these are stressful type trades because they don't go, you're not in and out quick. You're watching it fight, and you get that sudden release when your trade hits its target and you're out, and you think you've made money, and you think you can't lose after that, and then guess what? You go look, and you were in sim mode, and you didn't make a dime. So that's pretty frustrating. But luckily, it gave me a chance to get my money back. I didn't lose any money, but I still got a chance to make some money today. And really, I got a chance to take 3 little piddling trades here, and nothing really much since, when all the good movement was down here early. And that's just the way it goes. I mean, all the movement seems to be earlier, from the open until the first hour or two, and then there's not much happening. And it was kind of like that yesterday. All the movement was early, and then we did this the rest of the day, just a trading range. And then today, all the movement was early, and then we've just been stuck in all this mess the rest of the day. So generally with the range this size, you'd expect to get one similar, but we've gone into this little tight one. So that leads me to believe we're still probably going to make our target up here. But don't go trading on that, because it could start selling off suddenly and start trending down, and that wouldn't be out of the character for the market, because we've had enough here to do a correction, so it wouldn't surprise me. But what I've noticed is the dollar was selling off big time overnight, and then it's rallied this morning, so it's kind of changed things. And you don't go trading on that, but if you notice, the market will kind of move, for the most part, will move in opposition to the dollar. And I don't watch the dollar. I just check the other markets every day. I go check oil. I see what oil does. Every day I check gold and silver, see what it's doing, and I check the dollar, because it does affect other currencies. So, but you don't need that. Don't go looking at that, trying to trade off of that. I'll start getting probably 50 questions about, do you look at this market? Do you look at that market? No, not for trading purposes. I just look at it for personal reasons, longer term investments and things like that, other investments I got, and it has nothing to do with my day trading, although the dollar does seem to tend to trade in opposition to the market. So if you know that and you see the dollar selling off in the market, the ES rallying, then you probably know why. So but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. This is almost 20 minutes worth. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.